Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. We're going to do a little Western cutlery lookup with the book. First, we're going to check any info we can find out on this, and then a couple of Big J's knives. Now, we got a subscriber, Mr. Rick, who's also a big Western cutlery fan, and he sent me a whole bunch of pictures and a whole bunch of information, but I'm just going to give him his own show. So we'll do that down the line because I'm getting a late jump on this. It's 6 p.m. here already, so you guys might not see this till 9 p.m. depending on how it goes. But first, before we start on it, I'll show you here. I had to kind of rig the stand here on a couple Stephen King books just so we can get everything in frame. But we're going to be zooming in because it focuses in better here. I want to show you this. I always talked about I don't think of myself as a knife reviewer. And Jim here left this comment. I love your passion for knife history. Your research on your collection is much more akin to a steward or a historian over your knife museum than a collector. And that's kind of how I feel. It's almost a museum here. You are a great asset to our community, and I wouldn't miss one of your adventures in revealing all you can about knife history. So thanks, Jim. We also got another subscriber, and this is a former Western Cutlery employee. Former Western employee here. This was the only edition of the book, the one that's sitting on the table here. Harvey couldn't find a publisher for the book, so he opened Long's Peak Press. The address was the open field on the east side of Lamont Plant. When we were preparing for the shutdown, I tossed out dozens of cases of this book into the trash. Thanks, Robert, because I had to pay $80 for this because you threw them all in the trash. But anyway, I hope you would at least grabbed one of them and kept that. Western was a family-owned company until that's supposed to be 1984. Harvey sold to Coleman. Coleman was bought out by investor Ron Perlman. Camillus bought the name and product line in 1991 from a group that bought them at Western's liquidation auction in 1990. Thanks for making this video. Enjoyed watching it, and will enjoy reading the book. Or I will enjoy reading the book. A lot of American knife history in it. So I just wanted to let you know there's some people with a lot of information watching the channel. So I'll try and relay it all to you. And Rick has got some amazing Western pieces, so we'll do that another day. So, the Westlock. First, before we even look it up, I want to show you some more visual aids. The inventor for the locking system, because if you look on this knife, of course we got to zoom it in again. There was a patent pending, and this, the A, signifies it was made in 1977. So the patent was by Lawrence P. Johnson, and he put the application in 1976. It was granted in 77, so this is like the first model where they used it, and some more info. So then now we go over to Rick, and Rick sent me this because he also bought one of these, but he's got the sheath, the box, and the instruction manual. And here shows the locking system. You'll see the lock release button. The cam here is folded up, so nothing's happening. That's when it's in the closed position. And as it opens, the enclosed spring. This is what's special about it, is the spring is enclosed right within the spring mechanism or the lockback bar. So when you pull this up, this spring pushes out as it's pushing out here, and then it'll click in to that little groove. And you'll see the spring compresses as it's being rolled out, and once it hits that groove, the spring resets itself, which gives it the springability. And what's pretty cool about this here, let me look how wide this spring is at the back end, which is pretty sweet. You'll see it move back and forth. And me and Zen Ali think that this drop point is inspired by the great W.C. Davis, but I couldn't find any information on that. But one day I'll show you my Boker Davis lockback, which is simply amazing. Now this 77 is the only year that the Ebony covers were made. After that, they went to a really deep, dark black, glossy Delrin, which in my mind isn't a downgrade from the Ebony, because that's the one I was actually looking for. I had no idea that they had covers in Ebony, so I was really surprised to find one in Ebony. Of course, I grabbed it because this is in outstanding condition. I don't have no sheath, no paperwork, no box, but this probably will be my next week's carry, and it'll fit in my Victorinox sheath, if you guys remember that. But just an awesome knife, dead center down the middle. Well, not quite, but it doesn't rub. But the lockup on it, when you listen to that, no jiggle any which way. And I'm going to use it, but it's going to be a light user. I'll do most of my hard work with the Buck Saunter 250, because I don't want this pristine etch to go away, because hopefully someone generations behind me will get to enjoy this in a kind of almost new state. It looks like it might have been carried because there's some scratching on the bolsters, but that could be from the factory. You look at the shield is in there perfectly. I looked to see if it's pinned, and I couldn't tell because it gets really dark in there. It's a very narrow opening. Brass liners. The steel on this isn't great. It's 440, but I guess you could say that's better than 420, and it all depends on the heat treat. So you'll see a lot of these on eBay where they're sharpened out quite a bit. I believe Terry from Terry's Man Stuff has one of these, but I'll show you the one he has. So there's your locking mechanism if you want to read this. It's quite different than the Buck. Quite a bit different from the Buck. But Lawrence P. Johnson invented it, and it worked out really good because I got the first year they tried it out. And so let's go into the book here. We have to drop this back up. And the first one, I believe, is the 78 catalog, which would be 1 year after the 77. And right off the bat, I remember telling you guys when I was going through this book that I was going to get this bad boy. And that one you'll see, we'll have to drop this back up. You'll see it's black, deep black Delrin handle, 3-inch drop point, length closed is 4 1/4. Perfect lockback size. Trouble-free lock spring system, 440 stainless. Takes and holds a keen edge. Blade is double swedged for better point. Heavy-duty pivot pin. Nickel-silver bolsters on both ends for strength and beauty. Slim handle is wide and form-fitting for grip. And yes, that last part there is 100% right. This thing fits in the hand. I wish everybody could hold this sucker. It is just a beauty to hold. You can get up on it, do your skinning if you needed to. But the black diamond is just beautiful. So I guess I'm lucky because I got the only year that they made the Ebony. And you'll see the different versions. Mr. Rick bought this one here, the clip point. He's got the box and the sheath with his, and he provided the locking system diagram. I believe this is the one Terry has, the clip point. But later on, they did a different etch where they did a scenic outdoor scene. So in 78, they stayed with the Western logo on it. But his would be a brown laminated hardwood handle. But I believe he has the older etch on it. And this only goes up to 78, so I can't check up past here where they have the different etches. So that's pretty much the info on the Lockback. I'm going to turn the light on here. All right, we had a little malfunction there. What else is new? It's been that kind of day. So I could turn the light on just so you could see it. And of course, it was a 4 1/4 inch handle, but it really feels good. Thin, but it's tapered in the palm here, so it feels really good. You can choke up on it, get your cut that way, get your cut this way, do some slicing. So yeah, I'm going to be carrying this next week. I'll put the Buck 112 down for a while and see what happens. It's a gorgeous knife. Highly recommend it, whether you find a beat up user or if you go out like Mr. Rick did and bought this brand or almost new old stock with the sheath in the box. And he didn't say what that would cost, but I imagine it was close to 150 or probably more. But all right, here, let me shut the light off so we can get through this. So we took care of the S531-A 1977 S531 stainless 440 in ebony. So I couldn't find nothing. I also have this book, and they don't give Western cutlery any love at all. This is a book by Roy Ritchie and Ron Stewart, and it was published in 2002. So let me close this up a little bit. It's published in 2002, and if you go to the Western, it just shows you the order of the stampings on the blades, and this same history is pretty much what Robert said in the comment. So we don't need to say that. But usually what they do is they put a priority level on them for collectability. But they didn't do it on this one. And you'll see, let me drop this down a little bit. You'll see some of the patterns that they have in here. An interchangeable hatchet knife, Granddaddy Barlow. But that's it. Then they go right to Winchester. You got your iconic W49 and looks like a camp knife or two. So yeah, they didn't give them a lot of love there, so that was kind of a disappointing adventure. So let's go. It's the 78 catalog. Let's go to, for as far as Big J, the farthest back that he sent me pictures of the L6610 Axe Hunter combo, and that's what it is there. And this is the first catalog that I could find the 6610 in the 1960. Okay, Tang stamps were gradually changed to Western USA in the 60s. So you could still be in the 60s, beginning in 78, continuing until the mid 80s, the stamp Western USA. So I'll keep looking, brother. Just wanted to bring you guys some info. This was a long one. It's going to take a long time to download. But we'll show you the cover again. And we'll show you a knife I recommend, if you guys can swing it, is the Westlock S531. And they make all a bunch of different versions, the 532 and the 533, I think. Maybe even more than that. So if you're interested, just, Google up Westlock 500 series, and you may be able to find one. So until next time, my friends, take care. Peace. Bye-bye.